It's the man with the best laugh in the business, and you're watching The Fragrance Club. Okay, so on my show today, we're going back. We're going back to the 90s, okay? And I wish that I could tell you that this was my idea, but, you know, like a lot of things in the YouTube community, we tend to borrow ideas from each other sometimes. And I borrowed this one from one of my friends in the community, Delicious Delights. Thank you for the idea, ma'am. And who we're going to have on our show today is CK1. This was released in 1994, and I'm dating myself when I do this. When I do this video, I'm going to date myself, okay? You guys are going to find out probably my age when I do this video. Okay, so back in 1994, this thing hit the community, okay? We were totally not ready for it, you know? In my opinion, this was the first unisex fragrance on the market. Okay, if anybody knows of a different one, leave on the comments down below, please. I don't want to be, you know, wrong here, but to my knowledge, this is the first unisex fragrance that I remember. Just the whiff, just one big whiff of this, and I'm transported back to, you know, freshman year of high school. You know, I'm 15 years old, 1994. You know, it's you know, autumn, and you know, if you had like a friend who had a bottle of this, you know, you would be like, hey man, break me off some of that CK1, man, you know, at least a little spray or something, you know. And if he was cool, he would let you borrow some. But if he was like me, I'd be like, no, brother, you've got to buy your own. I was kind of selfish back then, and still kind of am today. Okay, so like I said, it was released by Calvin Klein, and this was like the first unisex fragrance on the market, to my knowledge. Just like, okay, like I said, if anybody can prove me wrong, leave the comments down below. Okay, released in 1994, this is a citrus, green, woody, floral, aromatic, powdery fragrance. Top notes include pineapple, green notes, mandarin orange, papaya, bergamot, cardamom, and lemon. Mid notes include nutmeg, violet, orris root, jasmine, lily of the valley, and rose. Okay, those are the mid notes. And the bottom notes include sandalwood, amber, musk, cedar, oak moss, green tea, and green accord. Okay, so when they say that this is unisex, it is unisex. You get a flowery, like kind of feminine vibe to this, but you also get a like that musk kind of brings it back to not make it full feminine, you know? It brings a little masculine back to the fragrance as well. If you were a popular kid back in 94, maybe like 94, maybe to like 98 or 99, you know, that's when, you know, CK1 was big in the mid 90s, man. Everybody was wearing, everybody in high school was wearing this where I went, you know. And if they weren't, they were wearing the bootleg. I know because, you know, when I ran out of this, I got the bootleg at Wieners, you know, back in the day. I can't remember what the bootleg was called, so if anybody can remember what, you know, a bootleg version of CK1 is, by all means, you know. But, you know, this fragrance brings back so many memories, you know. First kisses and first dances, and, you know, I met one of my ex-girlfriends while wearing this, you know, and like, it's a fragrance that I always have to, that I always wanted in, that I always have to have and I always want in my collection. It's part of the big three of the 90s, you know. Video's coming up later on that one. Okay, so CK1, projection on this back in the day was about average. It really hasn't fallen in my mind. Like, I remember back in the day, I got at least 3 or 4 hours to this, you know. It was good for a full day of classes and stuff like that. And then right when I was going to band practice, or if I or after school, I would recharge, you know. But I wouldn't have to do it until after school. So it, you know, it lasted a good 4 or 5 hours on longevity. It's a classic. It's a classic fragrance. You know, for what it is, for when it was made. I see this in the bargain bin all the time. If there's a gift set, I always like to get it because I like the body washes and I like the aftershaves and stuff like that. But that's to any fragrance, you know, not just to this one in general. And that's about it with the CK1. I mean, like I said, you know, there's a lot of memories attached to this, you know. A lot of memories, and gosh, when you spray it, I mean, those memories do come back, you know. You had to have been a teenager. You had to have been a teenager in the 90s to understand, you know. Okay, so do I recommend this? Yes, I do recommend this. It's a little too flowery and powdery for, like, men who want, you know, musky and masculine. I mean, it is a little bit masculine, but like they say, it is a unisex fragrance. So you've got to take into account that, you know, it's also going to be a little bit feminine too. But you know my motto. I don't believe in men and women fragrances. If you dig what you dig, you wear it. You know what I mean? Okay, so what do I give this on the scale? I give this a 3.5. You know, I wish it had better performance. I'm glad it does. I'm glad it still performs a little bit after all these years. Even if they have reformulated it, at least they haven't reformulated to where it doesn't perform on my skin anymore. You know what I mean? Because, sorry about the air conditioner, but you know, hot Texas days. Okay, so yeah, 3.5 for CK1, and you know, I do recommend picking this up because you can get it cheap at Ross or Target or TJ Maxx or, you know, any of those discount store places, especially at Ross. I see this at Ross all the effing time. Okay, so that's the show for today. I'm the Humble Collector. You guys are my humbled crowd, and this was CK1. And that's the truth, and I'm sticking to it.